Welcome to Midnight Confessions. Tonight's story is about one simple question. 5 words that shattered 12 years of marriage. My wife looked at me across the dinner table and asked something I never expected. I answered honestly, and in that moment I realized I had been living a lie. Not because I was hiding something, but because she was. This is about trust, about the lies we tell ourselves, and about the moment when everything you thought you knew collapses in a single breath. Let's begin.
My name is David. I'm 41 years old. I've been married to Sarah for 12 years. We met in college. She was studying business. I was in engineering. We got married young. 29 felt right at the time. Sarah worked in marketing. She climbed the ladder fast. Director of marketing at a tech startup. Long hours, late nights. I understood. I had my own career. Software development. Remote work. Flexible schedule. We had a rhythm. I made breakfast. She left early. I worked from home. She came back around 7 or 8, sometimes later. We'd eat dinner, watch TV, talk about our days. Normal stuff. We didn't have kids. That was a mutual decision. Or so I thought. Sarah said her career needed focus. I agreed. We had time. We were still young enough. Our life was comfortable. We owned a house in the suburbs, 2 cars, vacations twice a year, date nights when we could manage. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. I loved her. I really did. She was driven, confident, beautiful. She had this laugh that made everything feel lighter. When she smiled at me, I felt like I mattered. Looking back now, I see things differently. But at the time, I was content. I thought we were building something together. A future, a partnership, a life. I was wrong. It started about 8 months ago. Small things. Nothing I could point to and say, that's wrong. Sarah started working later. Not just an hour or 2. Sometimes she wouldn't get home until 10, 11. Once it was past midnight. She said it was a big project, a product launch, high stakes. I believed her. She started going to the gym in the mornings, 5 a.m. She'd never been a morning person, but she said she needed to take care of herself. Stress management. I supported it. I thought it was healthy. Her phone habits changed. She used to leave it on the counter. Now it was always in her hand, or face down on the table. She'd get texts and glance at them quickly, then put the phone away. When I asked who it was, she'd say, work stuff. I didn't think much of it. Not at first. People change. Priorities shift. Work gets busy. It happens. But then came the business trips. Sarah traveled before, maybe once every few months. Suddenly, it was twice a month. 3-day trips, sometimes 4. Las Vegas, San Diego, Austin, Seattle. She'd call me from the hotel, tell me about her day, the meetings, the clients. It all sounded normal, believable. I missed her, but I was proud of her success. She was moving up, making more money, getting recognized. I thought I was being a supportive husband. There was one night that stuck with me. She came home from a trip. I hugged her. She smelled different. Not perfume. Something else. I couldn't place it. I asked if she changed her shampoo. She said the hotel toiletries were really nice. I let it go. 3 months ago, things shifted. The small things became patterns, and patterns became questions I couldn't ignore. Sarah stopped initiating intimacy. We used to be physical a few times a week, then it was once a week, then once every 2 weeks, then almost never. When I tried, she said she was tired, stressed, not in the mood. I didn't push. I thought she needed space. But it wasn't just that. She stopped asking about my day. She stopped laughing at my jokes. When we sat together, she was on her phone, always scrolling, always texting, always somewhere else. I started paying attention, not in a paranoid way, just noticing. The way she'd smile at her phone, the way she'd turn the screen away when I walked by, the way she'd take calls in the other room. One Saturday, I suggested we go hiking, something we used to do together. She said she had to work on a Saturday. I asked if I could come with her to the office, keep her company. She said no, it would be distracting. I watched her leave. She was dressed nice, really nice, not office nice, date nice. That was the first time I felt it, the cold pit in my stomach, the feeling that something was wrong. I tried to shake it off. I told myself I was being paranoid, that work stress does this to people, that I was overthinking. But then I noticed the credit card statements, charges I didn't recognize, restaurants I'd never been to, a hotel in the city. We lived 30 minutes outside the city. Why would she need a hotel? I asked her about it. She said it was a client dinner. The hotel was for a colleague from out of town, company card, reimbursable. She seemed annoyed that I was questioning her. I apologized. I felt guilty for doubting her. But the doubt didn't go away. It grew, slowly, quietly, like a shadow spreading across everything.
2 months ago, Sarah went on another trip, 4 days in San Francisco. She kissed me goodbye, told me she loved me, said she'd call when she landed. She did call. Everything seemed normal. We talked for 10 minutes. She sounded happy, energized. She said she missed me. I believed her. The next day, I was cleaning the house, our bedroom. I was putting away laundry. I opened her nightstand drawer to put away some lotion she'd left on the dresser. That's when I saw it. A receipt, crumpled, shoved in the back of the drawer. It was from a jewelry store, 2 months old, $1,600, for a men's watch. My hands started shaking. I checked my wrist. I was wearing the same watch I'd had for 5 years. She hadn't bought me a watch. I sat on the bed. I stared at that receipt. I tried to think of explanations. Maybe it was a gift for her dad, her brother, a colleague, a client. But I knew. Deep down, I knew. I put the receipt back. I didn't want to believe it. Not yet. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind racing, going through every moment, every late night, every business trip, every time she turned her phone away. The next morning, I did something I'd never done before. I checked our phone bill online. I looked at her call and text logs. There was one number, over and over, hundreds of texts, long phone calls, late at night, early in the morning, during work hours. I didn't recognize the number. I copied it into my phone. I didn't call it. I just stared at it. Then I did something worse. I went into her laptop. She'd left it open. She was still logged into her email. I told myself I wouldn't look, but I did. I found an email folder labeled Travel Plans. I opened it. Hotel confirmations, but not for business trips. For weekends I thought she was working. Romantic hotels, suites, couples packages. There were photos, attachments, pictures I'd never seen. Her smiling, her at a beach, her at a restaurant, not alone, with him. I didn't know his name yet, but I saw his face. Younger than me, maybe 35. Fit, well-dressed, good-looking. They looked happy.
They looked like a couple. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. I closed the laptop. I walked into the bathroom. I bent over the sink. I thought I was going to throw up. I didn't cry. I just felt empty, hollow, like someone had scooped out my insides and left nothing but air. I spent the next 2 days going through everything. I was methodical, calm. I didn't want to miss anything. I found more emails, texts she'd forwarded to herself, screenshots of conversations. She wasn't even hiding it that well. She just didn't think I'd look. His name was Marcus. He worked at her company, not in her department, finance. They'd met at a corporate retreat a year ago. A year. This had been going on for a year. I read their messages, every single one I could find, and with each message, it got worse. They weren't just sleeping together, they were in love, or at least that's what they said. They talked about leaving their spouses, about starting fresh, about moving in together. Wait, their spouses? He was married, too, with 2 kids. I found messages where they talked about me, about his wife, how we were holding them back, how we didn't understand them, how they deserved to be happy. Sarah called me boring, predictable. She said I'd settled into mediocrity, that I'd stopped trying, that she needed someone who matched her ambition. I read those words over and over. I'd spent 12 years supporting her, encouraging her, celebrating her success. And this is how she saw me? But that wasn't even the worst part. I found financial documents, spreadsheets. She'd been moving money, our money, into a separate account I didn't know about. $20,000. Over 6 months. Small transfers I never noticed. She was planning to leave. She was preparing. And she was taking half our savings with her. I found an email to a divorce attorney, a consultation request. She'd sent it 3 weeks ago. She was asking about asset division, about what she'd be entitled to, about how to protect her income. She was going to blindside me, file for divorce, take the money, and leave me with nothing but questions. I sat in my office, the door closed, the lights off. I stared at the screen, at the evidence, at the proof that my marriage was a lie. And then I started planning. Sarah came home from San Francisco on a Thursday evening. She was in a good mood. She hugged me, kissed me on the cheek, said she missed me. I smiled. I said I missed her too. We made dinner together. Pasta, her favorite. We talked about her trip. She told me about meetings that never happened, clients that didn't exist, presentations that were all lies. I nodded. I asked questions. I played along. After dinner, we sat at the table. I poured us both wine. She relaxed into her chair. She looked happy. That's when I asked the question. Sarah, do you love me? She looked surprised. She smiled. Of course I do. Why would you ask that? Just curious, I said. Do you love me the way you used to? Her smile faded a little. David, where is this coming from? I've been thinking about us, about our marriage, about whether we're still on the same page. She set down her wine glass. Are you okay? I'm fine, I said. I just want to make sure you're happy, that we're happy. She reached across the table, touched my hand. We're fine, I promise. Work has just been crazy, but we're good. I looked at her, really looked at her. Her eyes were warm, convincing. She was good at this, really good. Who's Marcus? I asked. Her face went white. Her hand pulled back, fast. What? Marcus,
I repeated. The guy you've been sleeping with for the past year. The guy you bought a $1,600 watch for. The guy you've been planning to leave me for. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Then she spoke, her voice shaking. David, I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do, I said. I was calm. Too calm. I found the emails, the texts, the hotel receipts, the bank transfers, all of it. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. You went through my things. You're deflecting, I said. This isn't about my privacy invasion. This is about your affair. It's not... She stopped. She couldn't finish the lie. It's not what? I asked. Not what I think? Not serious? Not your fault? Tears formed in her eyes. Real or fake, I couldn't tell anymore. David, please, let me explain. Go ahead, I said. Explain how you fell in love with someone else. Explain how you spent a year lying to me. Explain how you moved $20,000 into a secret account. Explain how you were planning to divorce me without even giving me a chance. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered. But it did, I said. And you let it, over and over, for a year. You don't understand, she said. You stopped seeing me. You stopped trying. I felt invisible. So you cheated, I said. And then you lied. And then you stole. And then you planned to leave without even the decency of honesty. She was crying now, fully crying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, I said. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference.
I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I just stood up, walked to my office, and closed the door. Sarah followed. She knocked. She begged me to talk, to listen, to understand. I didn't open the door. The next morning, I called a lawyer. I explained everything. I sent over the evidence, emails, bank statements, receipts, text logs, all of it. My lawyer was impressed. You've built a solid case, he said. Adultery, financial misconduct. This will play in your favor. I filed for divorce that afternoon. I had the papers delivered to her office. I wanted her to feel the shock, the same way I did. She called me 20 times. I didn't answer. She came home. I'd changed the locks. She screamed through the door. I called the police. They told her to leave. She went to stay with Marcus. Of course she did. But here's the thing. His wife found out too. I made sure of it. I sent her everything. Every email, every text, every photo. His wife filed for divorce within a week. She took the kids. She took the house. Marcus lost everything. And suddenly, Sarah's perfect love story wasn't so perfect anymore. Turns out, Marcus didn't want to leave his family. He just wanted the affair, the excitement, the escape. When his wife left him, he blamed Sarah. He said she'd pushed too hard, expected too much. He ended things over text. Sarah tried to come back. She showed up at my lawyer's office. She wanted to talk, to reconcile, to explain. My lawyer sent her away. The divorce took 3 months. She tried to fight for half of everything, but the evidence was clear. Adultery, financial dishonesty. The judge wasn't sympathetic. I kept the house. I kept most of the savings. She had to return the money she'd transferred, and she had to pay my legal fees. Her company found out about the affair. Relationships between employees were allowed, but lying about travel expenses wasn't. She'd used company money for personal trips. They fired her. Marcus got fired too, for the same reason. Within 6 months, Sarah lost her marriage, her job, her relationship, and her reputation. I wish I could say I felt satisfied, but I didn't. I just felt tired.
It's been 4 months since the divorce finalized. I'm still in the house, same bedroom, same routines, but everything feels different. I don't miss Sarah, not really. I miss the person I thought she was, the woman I married, but that woman never existed. Or maybe she did once, and then she changed. Or maybe I just never really knew her. I've been in therapy, twice a week at first, now once a week. It helps, talking about it, processing it, understanding that none of this was my fault. I blamed myself for a while, thought I should have tried harder, been more attentive, more ambitious, more interesting. But my therapist helped me see the truth. Sarah made choices, every day, for a year. She chose to lie. She chose to cheat. She chose to betray me. Those were her decisions, not mine. I've started rebuilding, slowly. I reconnected with old friends. I took up running. I started reading again, things I'd let slip while I was trying to be the perfect husband. I even went on a date. Nothing serious, just coffee. It was nice, normal. I wasn't ready for anything more, but it reminded me that life goes on. Some days are harder than others. I'll see a couple holding hands or hear a song we used to like, and I'll feel it, the loss, the grief, not for Sarah, but for the future I thought we'd have. But then I remember, that future was built on lies. It was never real. The real future is the one I'm building now, alone, but honest, but true. I don't hate Sarah. I don't wish bad things on her. I just don't care anymore. She's not my problem. She's not my responsibility. She's just someone I used to know. I've learned things about myself. I'm stronger than I thought, more resilient, more capable of starting over. I've learned that love isn't enough. Trust matters. Honesty matters. Integrity matters. Without those things, love is just a word. And I've learned that sometimes the worst moments lead to the best changes. If Sarah hadn't asked me that question at dinner, I might still be living in that lie, believing everything was fine, never knowing the truth. She asked me if I loved her. I said yes, and then I asked her the same thing, and everything fell apart. But in the falling apart, I found myself again. One question, 5 words. That's all it took. Do you love me? The answer destroyed marriage, but it also revealed the truth. Sometimes, the things that break us are the things that save us. Thank you for listening to Midnight Confessions. If this story stayed with you, follow the channel, like the video, and subscribe so you never miss the next confession.